Should we panic? The answer is no, we should not panic. Now let's look at this here. Let me put myself up here, and then let's go through this. So first, this is the admin of the official ASI Telegram community. And let's look through what he wrote yesterday. For whatever it's worth, we want to communicate more. Like, this was a huge issue for many people. And I also said, hey, a bit more communication would be great. But, and you'll see here, it's not just about them, right? There are many, many parties involved. We want to communicate more, but there are external considerations involved that prevent us from saying all we would like without following certain processes and timelines. So it's not just on them, right? It's the three-way token merger, and it's taking place on all the exchanges where these tokens are listed on. So there are a lot of moving parts and a lot of parties involved. So this is why communication is not that easy, because it needs to be properly managed between all the parties. As he says here also, we would like to communicate more, but there are certain processes and timelines that prevent us from communicating the way we would like to communicate this merger. We are very aware that this is damaging to community relations. Surely, by extension, you should be aware that we would not be delaying if it wasn't absolutely necessary. Right? They are aware. They are not stupid, right? They know this is now obviously not good for community relations. You see it in the chats. You see it in the outcry of people, which is a little bit overblown, in my opinion. Maybe understandable to some degree, but people really need to chill out and calm down. And if you are one of the person who said, oh, I'm panicking now, then let me tell you, if you're on crypto and this is shaking you and this is making you panic, then you probably should do a lot more research and should work on calming yourself, because a bull run, when it really starts, will look absolutely crazy, and you, well, let's say you will not have a chill time if you panic if something like this happens. So he goes on to say, unfortunately, both mergers and blockchains sometimes require silence when we would love to be loud. So yes, they would love to communicate more with us, but they cannot, because again, multiple parties are involved, and they cannot communicate properly without following certain processes that accommodate all the involved parties. As from tech, let's read all of this here. To be honest, I would expect the opposite to be true, actually. As from the tech and marketing, we were ready to go as planned. So now we have a month to start sharing a load of interesting things. As you can see here, as from tech and marketing, they were ready to go. So another hint that tells us, hey, the exchanges have something up here. Or it's on somewhere in the process, there is something that doesn't work quite well, so they need to fix that, right? But from the techers' perspective, they are ready to go. And this is freaking amazing. And we'll also see that in what Ben Goertzel wrote in just a moment. And now this I found very, very great. What he said here also, people have every right to be annoyed. We are too. Right? They are annoyed too that this happened. It's not planned. They are not doing this on purpose. Right? They are annoyed too. And they see, yes, of course, people have every right to be annoyed. So I found this very, very authentic and a very, very great statement. So again, this is from the official Telegram group from the admin in there. Now let's move to the official statement of CEO Dr. Ben Goertzel and what he said also in the Telegram group. Let me put myself down here. So let's read through this whole statement here, because I know this is what interests all of you. Folks, I understand the delay in the merger date is frustrating, but I would encourage you to take a step back and look at this in perspective. Singularity Net team is working hard on a number of important initiatives, like scaling up OpenCog Hyperon AGI architecture, which we for sure want. Right, this is the main thing. If we are in the ASI Alliance, you're hopefully in the ASI Alliance not because we want our token to go up. This is one part of it, but mainly because we want the development of decentralized AGI and AI systems that are beneficial for all of humanity. So scaling up OpenCog Hyperon is crucially important, and much more important than a merger that can take place now, in a month from now, or in a year from now. It doesn't really matter, in my opinion. integrating SingularityNet, Hypercycle, NuNet, Fetch, Ocean protocols to make an awesome, comprehensive, decentralized infrastructure for AGI, which is freaking amazing. Creating easy-to-use services for devs to use to pull LLMs ensembles and LLMs plus knowledge graphs plus reasoning ensembles on SingularityNet platform. And I'll address the chat in just a moment. I see you asking questions in there, but let me go through this first. Building a compute infrastructure combining SingularityNet Fetch supercomputers with global decentralized compute. The latter leveraging, again, SingularityNet, Fetch, Ocean, Hypercycle, and NuNet. So they are working in integrating all of this. Fetch and Ocean teams are working on their own important projects, and we are looking at various integrations. I just had a chat with Trent and a few others this morning, e.g. on using Predictor for electricity price, supply, and demand predictions, which is a great addition, using SingularityNet and Fetch AI agents within Predictor, which would be fantastic. Each of the three merging projects have a token whose main purpose include payment, incentivization, reputation, rating, etc. on their respective platforms. We are engaged in a huge effort to beat big tech government to create advanced AGI first, which is what we are all in for. We are all in here for the big picture. At least I know my community is in for that. And I hope if you're watching me for the first time today, you also see the big picture and are not just focused on your token price. Of course, we want our token price to go up. We all want to make a profit here. But what I want even more is to steer humanity in the right direction. And this is really our shot at doing so, because we believe this is most likely to result in a beneficial outcome for humanity and its successors. Right? This statement here, absolutely crucial. We are merging our tokens because we believe this will give us the highest odds of succeeding in this effort over the next few years. Ray Kurzweil predicted that's a German name for sure, Kurzweil, okay, anyway, predicted human level AGI by 2029. And to me, this seems quite plausible. We might even beat his estimate by a couple years, 2029. In the future, I think in 2 weeks, I have a video coming out where I look at how likely or what is a objective timeline. When can we count on AGI? In 2 weeks, I have a video coming out where I talk about this and go in depth. Hint, I don't think it's that soon, but we'll look at that in 2 weeks. We might even beat his estimate by a couple of years. And I suspect that once you get human-level AGI, you're only a few years from radical superintelligence. The merging of the tokens is valuable largely because it provides a shared incentive mechanism across teams and communities. Yet, by merging tokens without fully merging organizations, as in a typical corporate merger, we will retain the creative diversity that comes from having smaller groups with their own perspectives and focus. And this is also a big part of the ASI Alliance. You still have the Fetch community, SingularityNet community, and the Ocean community building their own and bringing in their own ideas, which is fantastic for decentralized development of AGI. The particularities of merging the AGIX, Fed, and Ocean tokens are complicated, mostly because not everyone uses hardware wallets and DEXs like I intend to. So there are various third parties involved. Again, Ben Gertz also talks about various third parties that are involved. In order to do the token merger in a way that gives most token holders a good user experience, one needs to coordinate with these third parties. This coordination has resulted in some schedule slippage on the token merger, as we see right now, 1 month. Because again, various third parties are involved. This is the issue here. Corporate mergers commonly have schedule slippage too, for different particular reasons. So if you are in the tech space, you should know, if you have ever seen a tech company, there are always delays to everything. Maybe not for Apple. They are pretty good on keeping timelines, but everyone else, like there are delays everywhere. So this really is not that big of a deal. I understand it's annoying for some. I understand that, but still in the grand scheme of things, it's really not that big of a deal. But there is a commonality with the present situation in that the slippage is due to a lot of moving parts involving different people in different organizations. right? We talked about this multiple times now. The slippage of the token merger date is certainly not what we wanted, but what I do regret and the consternation it is causing some community members, I cannot help but view it as a pretty small blip on our path to building actual AGI. And this next statement is important as well. I also must observe there are likely to emerge significantly larger hiccups before we get to actual beneficial superintelligence. So now would be a good time for us all to practice a bit of calm and tenacity in the presence of inevitable bumps in the road, right? Bumps in the road are inevitable. It will happen. Like building AGI is not an easy thing, especially when a lot of moving parts are involved. So there will be even more hiccups. This is to be expected. So we, as a community of the ASI Alliance who believe in the vision, for us, this hiccup is not that bad. For us, this is an opportunity to buy more, and this is to shake out all the weak hands. Because really, we don't necessarily want people in the community who are just there for the token price to come up. Because these narrative-driven hype people are not believing in the vision anyway. And it is expected for them to be shaken out when small hiccups occur. And like Ben Gertzel said, it's almost guaranteed that there will be a lot larger hiccups on the way to building actual beneficial AGI. So yes, it's annoying. I understand that. And it's frustrating. And I'm also slightly annoyed. Like if you look at the poll, I fall into the category of, yes, I'm slightly annoyed, but at the same time, I also understand it, right? Hiccups are normal. It's the huge parties, and a lot of parties are involved, many moving parts, as he said. So there are a lot of considerations when communicating properly. This is why the communication sucks a little bit at the moment. I expect this to get a lot better when the token merger is over, because then it's just Singularity Net, Fetch AI, and Ocean, and then they communicate a lot better. But right now, there are many other parties involved. All the DEXs, all the SEXs, centralized exchanges, you know what I mean? All of them. So there's a lot of communication that needs to happen there. So saying that, the answer to the question is, should we panic right now, is no. No, we should not panic right now. It looks okay. Of course, the hiccup is a little bit annoying. I understand that. But at the same time, have the big picture in mind, okay? Let's look at the big picture. We are here to build beneficial superintelligence, right? Not big tech, but we want to do that in a decentralized, democratized way. And this big vision is what we are all here for and why we support the ASI Alliance. And now let me finally address the chat.